Okay boys, so I've got an interesting concept for you today. I came across this idea when I was reading my health books. It was one of the last books I read on health, and the book was Life Force by Tony Robbins, and it's the idea of live long enough to live forever. Now this wasn't an idea that had occurred to me, and it might not have for you either. It's not something I would have come up with unless I came across it in this book. So the idea is, you're probably operating on the notion that as humans we have a set lifespan. We're lucky if we live to be 80 to 100. That's good. You want to have good health for that time, and then you're probably going to die. Well, technology is advancing, and in the book Life Force, Tony Robbins, I think he collaborated with a lot of people on this book. So the people that you can look into if you're interested in this, the ones that come to mind are obviously Tony Robbins' book Life Force, Brian Johnson and his slogan, he has t-shirts that say "Don't die" on them, so that's his mission. He's trying to live forever, among other things. He's just trying to anti-age himself. And Ray Kurzweil is a futurist that is trying to predict how the future is going to go. But in terms of health, so this is a belief and a health. This comes under the belief and health categories as far as I can see. Most people just believe you age and die. That's just normal. Everyone throughout history was born, they aged, and then they died. And there's no reverse in that process. Some people might try and create longevity by doing certain lifestyle and diet habits that create longevity. But I think now we're at a point where people are seriously considering the idea that you could potentially live forever. So the phrase "live long enough to live forever" is kind of saying technology advances exponentially, and there will be a point at some point in the future, and Ray Kurzweil is saying that point in the future is not that far away, where technologies exist that can regenerate the human body indefinitely, potentially. And to the average person who's just trying to not have IBS or not be obese or try and lose a bit of weight, this might not have occurred, but it's interesting to consider that some of the smartest people in the world are already acting on this information. They're trying to prolong their life to the point where technology can take over and keep them going forever. Now, that's a philosophical idea as well. The concept of living forever I don't really think is a good idea, but you might want to extend your life as long as is possible naturally. So some of the ways they're doing that, one thing that I think is going to become massively popular very soon is stem cells. So our medical system at the moment is not regenerative. You'd sort of take a drug to mask symptoms, but stem cells regenerate your cells like you would when you're generating your cells as a baby. They're physically it's just a different way of looking at it. So I think stem cells. And then another thing is like nanotechnologies that you put in your bloodstream. I don't really know how it works. I'm just sort of throwing it out there so you can think about it. But biotechnologies and nanotechnologies that you put into your blood that kind of like little remote control cells that swim around and fix all the damage in your body. Now it sounds far-fetched, but that will be a reality at some point. Now you want to stay healthy enough, and money comes into it as well, because these aren't going to be cheap procedures, but stay healthy enough and live long enough to capitalize off of these. And it's just something I've thought of, because you look at people like Donald Trump, and who was the other example? Bill Gates and people like that. Now they're getting old, and it seems some of the rich, like the most influential, richest people don't seem to be aging that quickly. Even like Joe Rogan is in good shape regardless of his age. So I think you'll see older people just staying. So like someone like Bill Gates can afford stem cells among whatever other technologies he's using. And even Elon Musk. I think you'll see people like that are just not aging because they're using these technologies, and to the average person they just assume you get, you know, your 80 years and then that's it, that's all you can expect. But they will be, I mean, diet and lifestyle, hydration, sleep, all the natural things, you want to max those out first. But I think it's just worth considering that there are people out there that are trying to not die, essentially, and it's just that you might not have got your head around it. But yeah, just think about that. I wonder if I will live long enough to live forever. The technology might be 20-30 years away, or even 10 years away, with AI that will be able to create medicines and regenerative what am I trying to say, modalities to keep you young. And I think people like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Tony Robbins, Donald Trump, they're rich enough where they're going to use whatever's available and they will stay looking young for a long time. So it's just worth keeping an eye. The average person isn't thinking about that. They're just thinking about paying their bills, trying to lose a bit of weight, build a bit of muscle. But I think the next step up in the health category and the belief category is I could become healthy enough and create enough longevity where I could potentially be around when there's a technology that could help me live forever. Now, I personally don't advocate living forever. I don't think that's a good idea. Alan Watts did a good speech on reincarnation and why you wouldn't want to live forever. But I think most people, if you're enjoying your time here on Earth, you're going to want to try and live for as long as possible and be healthy while you're alive, and to be around your family for as long as possible. So regenerative medicine, I think, is going to become very interesting over the next few years, and it's something worth considering. You're not just losing weight and building muscle to look better. You want health and longevity so that you're around when these technologies come out. But yeah, check out Brian Johnson. Who else we got? The book Life Force, and Ray Kurzweil. Now, Brian Johnson, you might look at him and he looks a bit pasty, and some of the things he's doing is extreme. He's like injecting fat into his face to mitigate that drawn out sort of when you get older, your face gets drawn out, and he's basically doing everything. And I wouldn't push it to that extreme, but you can learn from what he's doing and what he's putting into practice. So yeah, I guess my actionable step is do your research. You might not be able to afford stem cells or actually do any of the practices, but a lot of them are diet. Brian Johnson does a lot of diet, exercise, light therapy and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just a thought for today. Live long enough to live forever. Done. Right, that probably wasn't my most clear and concise video. It was, normally I have cheat day for food on a Sunday, but because the gym's closed tomorrow, I did it today. And the carb fog has descended on me, so not ideal for making videos, but I'm considering binning off cheat days. Now, this goes against some of the advice I've offered, which is factor them in, but I feel like I've broke the food addiction now to the point where I could just eat clean all the time. Now, it might backfire and I might be wrong in that, and then I'll end up not doing a cheat day and then missing the bad food and then eating it at some point. But I might try it just for a week and see if I can do it and not miss the food and not fuck up at some other point. So yeah, we'll see. I might not do a cheat day next week. Keep it clean consistently. I just don't think it's worth the brain fog and the consuming sugar. But we'll see.